Once things quiet down, something else usually comes up. You might notice it in small moments at first. Someone asks you a simple question, what you want and what feels right, what you think, and instead of answering, your body pauses, not because you don't know, but because something inside you starts scanning. You feel it as a tightening in your chest, right? A quick flicker of, I don't know. Doubt creeps in. That familiar urge to look outside yourself before you respond. You've had calm before, but calm without direction can feel unsettling. It can. And that's where this conversation begins, right there. Because for a long time, you learned how to move with guidance, not how to generate it. You learned how to read the room, how to sense expectations, how to adjust so things stayed smooth. That made you capable. It made you perceptive. It made you safe. But it also taught your body something subtle. That direction lived somewhere else. So now even when urgency isn't running you anymore, you might notice a different kind of discomfort, a quiet uncertainty about what comes next. Not panic, not chaos, just hesitation. You'll notice it when you're deciding something small and it suddenly feels heavier than it should. When you explain your choices before anyone asks, when you feel steadier following than choosing. That doesn't mean you're lost. It means your system is used to checking first. And there is nothing wrong with that. Your body learned what it needed to learn in order to stay connected, included, and protected. If deferring kept peace, if agreeing avoided conflict, if waiting for approval reduced risk, then of course your nervous system learned to pause before choosing, right? That doesn't mean weakness. That was wisdom. But wisdom evolves. It does over time. And at this stage of your life, the question isn't, can I follow? It's, can I stay with myself when it's time to choose? That's a very different skill. Becoming self-led doesn't start with confidence. It starts with tolerance. Tolerance for the sensation of choosing without immediate reassurance. Because choosing even small things create a physical response in your body. You feel it when your stomach tightens as you give an answer without checking, when your breath gets shallow as you decide without explaining, when there's a moment of, did I do the right thing? Before anything has even happened. That sensation isn't a signal that you made the wrong choice. No, it's not. It's a signal that your nervous system is doing something unfamiliar, something different. And unfamiliar doesn't mean unsafe. It just means new. That's all. Most women were never taught how to feel the discomfort of self-direction without interpreting it as danger. So instead of staying with that feeling, we override it. We justify, we ask for opinions, we soften our decisions so they land easier. You might notice this when you say yes and then immediately feel resentment. Or when you say no and then reply it in your head, right? Or when you choose something that feels right and still feel unsettled afterwards. That unsettled feeling isn't doubt. It's unused capacity. Your body is learning how to stand on its own signal. That's all. And that takes practice, not effort, but presence. Right now, just notice what's happening in your body as you listen. Think about it and notice it. Is your chest tight or is it open? Is your breath steady or is it shallow? Is there a sense of learning happening inside you, or leaning forward like you're waiting for the next instruction, you don't need to change any of it. Just notice what's happening inside your body right now. Because self-leadership doesn't require you to know the answer right away. It doesn't. It requires you to stay connected to yourself long enough for the answer to arrive. That's the difference. When you're not self-led, decisions feel urgent. You want to resolve them quickly so the discomfort goes away. When you're becoming self-led, you let the discomfort exist without rushing to fix it. You'll notice when you pause instead of responding immediately. When you sit with a decision overnight without polling everyone. When you let yourself not know for a moment. That pause isn't indecision. It's orientation, right? For a lot of women, orientation has always come from outside, from expectations, timelines, roles, or other people's needs. So when the external noise quiets, the internal compass can feel faint at first. It can. That doesn't mean it's broken. It means it hasn't been listened to consistently. And like any signal that's being ignored for a long time, it takes a little patience to hear it again. You might feel that patience as discomfort in your chest, as restlessness in your body, as the urge to just decide already, right? That's okay. It's all right. You're not doing this wrong. You're not. You're doing something new, and that's the difference. Generationally, can't even say it. Through your ancestry, many women learned that autonomy means consequences, and it came with consequences. Choosing for yourself meant risk. Speaking clearly meant pushback. Leading your own direction meant standing alone. Those lessons didn't disappear just because your life looks different now. It didn't. They live on in your nervous system. They do. So when you start leading yourself, your body might react as if you're doing something dangerous, even when you're not. That reaction deserves compassion, not correction. You don't need to bulldoze your way into self-leadership. You need to stay present while your body learns that choosing doesn't equal abandonment. You'll notice this shift the first time you let a decision stand without explaining it. When you choose something small and don't immediately justify it. When you trust a quiet yes or a quiet no, even if it doesn't come with fireworks. That steadiness you feel afterward, that slight settling in your chest, that's your system recalibrating. That's trust being built, not because the choice was perfect, but because you stayed with yourself through it. Self-leadership isn't about being loud. It isn't about being certain all the time. It's about consistency. It's about not abandoning yourself the moment uncertainty shows up. You don't need to force clarity. Clarity comes from staying, from listening long enough for your body to say, this feels right, or, nah, this doesn't. Even when the answer is subtle, especially when it's subtle, right? Later today, you'll probably notice a moment where this applies. Someone will ask for your opinion. A decision will come up. You'll feel that familiar urge to check, explain, or defer. See if you can notice the sensation instead of reacting to it, right? The tightness, the pause, the breath holding. You don't have to do anything differently. Just don't leave yourself. Stay with your body. That's the practice. And if you feel steadier right now, even just a little, let that matter, because it does. This is something you return to, not something you master all at once. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what happens when you start leading yourself, but the world around you keeps shifting. And it does. And how to stay grounded when things change, because they will. How not to lose your center when circumstances move, right? That conversation builds on this one. For now, take the next breath as if it counts and as it comes. Nothing needs to be decided in this moment. So stay blessed, stay crowned, and queen, stay self-led. Have a beautiful day.